All right, we are on. It is Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro, with a no-frills video update of the action on BTC. I wanted to take straight to the charts and let you know what I think it is telling us today. So let's just jump straight into it. Notice that we had this big red wick here, and we touched on a fib circle boundary that is all too familiar. Let's jump out to the one-day chart. I want to know how many of you fell for this little run, or if you still currently think that BTC is going to continue to run. I'm not falling for it. I'm not convinced right now, and I don't think it's going anywhere. And if we look at this fib boundary, boy, it's so hard to tell. I need to change my colors here. Let's go ahead and make this into a bright red so we can see it. There we go. This is of the big 3.618 fib circle boundary, and that's why it bears significance with the recent action. So zooming back in, looking at the 4-hour chart, what do we notice? We notice that the price rose up to that fib circle boundary on the red candle. And this, I believe, is a Doji. Is that a Doji? Where you don't have any body in the candle, or whatever it's called. That's significant of a reversal in trend. So we pumped all the way up above 7,000, which was quite surprising. And again, I never believed it all the while. And so the minute that we touched upon the 3.618 large blue fib circle boundary line, we got rejected. Now, of course, we've seen significant points of action along this line in the past, so this should not be too much of a surprise to see that this has happened here, when before we crawled around the line, we bounced on the green line, rode up the green line, came up above, took a dive back off of that green line, dipped, touched the big blue 3.618, bounced around, it was support, and then it became resistance. The last time, look, 1 point of support, 2 points of support, 3 points of support, and now it is going to become resistance. Why do I think it will be resistance? Look at the stochastic. Let's go to drawing mode so we can draw all over this and point out some of these things. And draw. All right, let's put some arrows everywhere. So the big rejection coming right here at the 3.618. And this is what I noticed. The stochastic has peaked out. We were in this territory, in the oversold territory above the 80% line as of today. And then notice that the fast line, which is the blue line, has crossed over the red line, which is the slow line. So this looks like we've got a reversal. Now, sometimes it can recover and come back above that line, but when there is not corresponding evidence to go with that on the chart, it usually means we're going to head back down on the stochastic. There is a possibility that Bitcoin could take one more surge. If we have a recovery here, let's go to green to designate a positive movement. We could move to the big green line, and let's turn off drawing and see which fib circle boundary this is. So let's go back to the 1 day, and here we are coming upon this big fib circle boundary here. It's the green one, not the big one. Actually, this one is from the date range that only takes us back to February the 13th at the peak before we saw the slump and the big nosedive. So we are looking at the green 2.618 fib circle boundary that is a possible high point if we crawl along as the big 3.618 continues to be resistance. So if that continues in a resistance manner, then this is what we will be looking at, possibly, which I think that this is the second most likely, because I don't see it recovering now that the stochastic is looking this way. For this to happen, we would need the stochastic to have a quick recovery and do a double hump. I always call it the double hump, like a double humped camel. And then that will give us the surge that will go back up, possibly to the bottom of the 3.618 and where it intersects the 2.618 green. At that point, I can tell you what, it's absolutely going to take a drop. I don't know how strong or how fast of a drop, but this is just my opinion. Not financial advice for any of you that are gambling your hard-earned money on Bitcoin. What are you thinking? don't be gambling money you cannot afford on Bitcoin. This is not a very good investment for people that don't have it to lose. So this is what I think will happen as we bail off of that big green line and we possibly head to the bottom of the trading channel. Or, in my opinion, we could slump downward at this point, find this line, and then bail down to the bottom of the channel. All right, let's clear that. Turn drawing mode off and zoom out on the chart so we can see what the parallel trading channel looks like in the macro. Okay, here we go. Zooming out, let's look at the 1 day. It's easier to see in the 1 day. And let's scrunch this chart down. Please ignore all of the messy lines from the past. So let's draw on this chart. Now, it looks like to me that we have shot to the top of this channel, and then of course we had all of this up and down action moving from the middle back down towards the bottom, and then crawling all the way up to the top of the channel, and then we of course took the nosedive to the bottom of the channel. So as we see before, we don't always have to make it all the way back up to the other side of the channel. Now it is possible we could pump from here and head back up towards the 9,000 level, but I'm gonna probably say, I'm gonna go ahead and say that's gonna be a no. And the reason why is we have to look at where the stochastic peaks were on previous runs. So when we were at the top of this trading channel here, look at the stochastic peak in the overbought territory here. But notice that the next stochastic peak did not bring us anywhere near this previous peak price. And notice the whole time, what are we forming? Lower highs, lower highs, lower high, lower high, lower high, higher medium high, but then lower high, lower high, lower high, nosedive. So if history will repeat itself, which Bitcoin does not like to abide by patterns in history, we're probably gonna head down from here. I'm also looking at the possibility that if this action continues for quite some time, we could end up down here that is below the 3,000 level. It's a possibility. With the market in the condition that it is in, combined with the virus pandemic going on throughout the world, and the fact that the big stockholders that have the major money that we thought were going to come flooding into Bitcoin and pump it up are doubling down, thinking that they're buying the bottom in the stock market on the Dow and the NASDAQ, that money is not coming this way. So I don't think that our little $1,200 welfare bailout checks for the 2 or 3% of us that are going to get those checks who like to invest in crypto, I don't think it's going to be enough to prop up the market. Probably not going to happen. So all in all, I think that we are definitely in a continuation of this bearish trend. It's not over. And when we zoom even farther out, let's turn off drawing mode and take this out even farther. And if you'll please just look between all of my messy fib circle lines, you can see that this action is a repeat of the spike that happened on the 2017 run to 20,000. It kind of looks like a reflex reaction here, and we could have another breakdown point that, in all honesty, 3,000 is possible, but who knows? We could sail back down to the levels that we saw before the big run-up of 2017, which would take us somewhere in the range of 1,000 before this action happened. The point is, we don't know. It's dangerous, and that's why you should not play in this market with money that you cannot afford to lose. So that is all I have. I just wanted to give a quick update to show you what I see in the Bitcoin chart, and then we will come back with an update for other altcoins that I am watching, namely Litecoin, Ethereum. I like Chainlink. I'm looking at that, and then I'll do a specific video on the action on XRP. All right, that's all I've got. This is Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro, with a new No Frills update for April 2nd, 2020. We'll see you next time.